It's been my nature to almost be embarrassed that I'm going away, or to
Mm,
be, I don't know if ashamed is the right word, because I'm happy we're going away, but we don't talk about it because we all play this. Um, we're engaged in a lot of things. We're busy, and going away does mean, by definition, we're leaving behind certain things we're responsible for. But there's a fine line between choosing not to do it because we feel guilty about the stuff we're leaving and just preparing for it. Hello. Hi.
hi. We weren't just
That's,
yelling at each other.
we weren't actually yelling at each other.
That's true. We just
I
got frustrated at each other.
wasn't really that frustrated, but I made you frustrated.
You did. Because you just resigned yourself to the fact that you're not hearing me because I talk weird. So,
Anybody who's listened to any of our prior episodes, they probably hear you, but they've heard me complain about this. It's definitely just my ears and not the world around us. It's
anyway, we
it's
will
fine.
pull through, push through, whatever the word is. So, today,
We're gonna come out the other side, whatever it is. Yeah. See, for everybody who's listening, she's laughing right now. she
ha 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 ha. I got to be more audible with my
the
laughter,
inaudible laugh.
obviously.
This is why everyone needs to watch on YouTube now. You'll know.
Right. Like, that's how I laugh. I laugh through my nose sometimes. So,
Is
like,
that what
I
it is?
should
The
just put my
microphone doesn't
nose up
pick
to
up
the
your nose.
microphone.
I don't know that that would come across the right way
Did
in
you hear?
audio. No, I hear nothing.
Really?
Were
I
you
can hear
making
it so
sound there?
loud. Yes. I
Do it again.
guarantee you.
Do it again. And then zero sound. But it looks funny. So and right now, like you just kind of laughed. It sounded like you're in another room.
Ah.
I just wonder if people are hearing. This might just be my earphones. I
I
don't know
feel
what it
like it
is.
is because I think the last time I played back and what you had said was that's why I think I got frustrated because what you're saying is not what I hear when in the playback of any of
Okay,
these
I'm
podcast
gonna trust.
episodes.
Well, when this is done, we're gonna listen to the audio, and I'm gonna listen specifically for your weird nasal sounds because I'm kind of curious what that sounded like. And again, this is a reason for people to watch. When you're watching, I see what you're doing, and it definitely looks it looks like laughing, kind of. So anyway, all that being said, this is not segue worthy. None of this has anything to do with what we're talking about. I could create a segue, which is, when we laugh, when we laugh, when we're happy
When
on vacation,
it's true.
when we
We
go
laugh a lot.
away. And we're going to talk today where it's that time of year. And when this episode is live, we are going to be over the ocean and far away, enjoying life on a vacation.
Actually,
And
we're
this,
actually we're not. It's Monday.
well,
This is coming out.
that's true. We're going to be packing. But this is
We're still here.
that ties into one of the lessons that'll come forward out of this. But we are talking about the fact that in our profession and every profession, you need time to get away. You need the ability to have downtime. It doesn't need to be over an ocean. It doesn't even need to be out of your city. But without the ability to take a vacation, get away, relax, you will not be successful in the rest of your business. And this is how you do that. This is the dummy's guide to getting away from it all, just in time for summer break.
I wouldn't say dummy's guide. I'll say the realtor's guide.
I was just going off of those books. Remember, I guess it was The Idiot's Guide or Vacationing for Dummies. Those are the two big books, right? But
Yeah.
fine.
I don't know. I just don't want to insult our people.
Well, yeah. Well, we take this advice. I'm
Yeah.
okay.
I
Fine.
know.
You're not. We're not dummies. They're not. Nobody's a dummy. No one's an idiot. You're all genius realtors or professionals in whatever industry you're in, and you need a break.
Yes. So how do you take that break? Is the question. You want to
I
answer?
Well, for us, I mean, I think a lot of people think we don't, but we do, and we're about to.
Yeah.
And for me, I am the planner of the two of us when it comes to this stuff.
Yes, you
We
are.
talk a lot about planning in business. I think when you're going to be doing something, first of all, identify that you need it. And then you can get into I don't care if it's about choosing where or any of that stuff. But once you've got the goal set for what you want to do, the better prepared you are for being away and everything that comes with it. And this isn't necessarily the where am I going to go and what am I going to do? This is the
Mhm.
what am I leaving behind and how am I not going to be stressed out element of that so that you
Yeah,
can actually enjoy it.
absolutely. Yeah.
So,
So I'd say that this process, it starts as early as possible. I mean, I'm not saying 6 months before you go away, but I'm happy, especially this time, that I have started the process a couple weeks ago to just get, first of all, my clients notified so they're preparing for this, and the people in place that can help those individuals, because the last couple of days, I'm putting an offer on a place today. Like, there's stuff going on, and I feel like if I waited until tomorrow, for example, which is still 5 days until or 4 days until we leave, I would have been really, really overwhelmed, and my clients would have been very shocked, because I mean, I probably would have told them anyways if they were putting an offer on a place, but still, it's one
they
of
know you're
those.
going away though, don't they?
They No, they do. That I
Okay.
said, yeah, I notified everybody like a couple weeks ago. So it's in everybody's head now, which makes me feel more at ease knowing that I can turn it off at a certain point and pass things on to whoever is covering me during that time.
So, okay, so let's start then. You've jumped into client stuff. So let's start with talking about clients because there's a couple of different verticals to the things you have to prepare,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
boxes you need to check. And don't, for the audience who listened to what you just said, I don't think what you meant was if you're working with buyers, you make sure they all make offers before you leave because it might not be appropriate for them. That's not part of the vacationing
No,
thing, is that you're
no,
saying,
but this,
I'm leaving,
yeah,
so we better buy a place today.
yeah.
However, it does give you a little bit more of a comfort level knowing that, first of all, that they know. I think that's the key to it is don't, it's been my nature. I don't know about yours. It's been my nature to almost be embarrassed that I'm going away or to
Mm,
be, I don't know if ashamed is the right word because I'm happy we're going away, but we don't talk about it because we all play this. Um, we're engaged in a lot of things. We're busy, and going away does mean, by definition, we're leaving behind certain things we're responsible for. But there's a fine line between choosing not to do it because we feel guilty about the stuff we're leaving and just preparing for it and telling people. We've talked about this with other things. We can talk about good stuff. Like,
mm,
we live in a bit of a complain culture where I think people make a point of only focusing on the bad stuff that's happening to them and sharing misery with other people.
yeah.
People do want to, like, we want to celebrate the good stuff that happens to other people. People are happy you're going away. So if you have
But
a mindset that you don't want to tell people because you're
yeah,
afraid of how they might react, that needs to be something that changes out of the gate, or you'll never do anything, or you'll disappoint them because you didn't tell them.
right. And I think, but there are going to be some people that are a little concerned or do not have the most positive reaction, not because they don't want you to go away, but because maybe they're wrapped up in stuff in their own home search or home sale process, and they're wondering how the heck this is going to work. So the approach that I find is helpful is, first of all, notifying them as early as possible, but presenting them with a game plan that, in the event that you need to go see places, you want to see set up some showings, here's who you're going to reach out to. And this is the best person because they know the area, they're familiar with it. So the more detailed you can be with the game plan, and if you need to make an offer, I'm going to be available, but the person who's covering me as well is fully capable and experienced to do the same thing for you, blah, blah, blah. It almost like leaves no room for concern or doubt as a result, which is really helpful.
When you approach it with any amount of doubt, that gets multiplied in the people you're talking to. So if you approach it from a defensive position
Mhm.
or in an apologetic position,
Yeah.
right? Or without a plan, then that's going to reflect in the way that people respond to you, right? If you say, like, I hate to tell you this, but I'm going to be going away for a couple of weeks. Well, people who might have otherwise been like, that's great, you're going away, are now going to be like, shit, what do you mean you're going away and you hate to tell me this? Like, this is terrible. Maybe I should find another agent, right? Whereas if you say, you know, as early as possible, like, hey, I just booked a vacation, really excited. I've got all the stuff lined up for you. I'm going to introduce you to this person who's working with you. And this is, even down to saying, like, this is who takes care of my stuff when I'm gone. Here is like, it's an extension of me. I have systems that are built for this, right? We've talked about before, there's companies we've worked with who I didn't even know moved their office to Colombia and still kept the lights on and kept working with me the entire time. Now, they never even told me they left until they were gone and everything was working fine. I'm not a huge fan of that approach. Like, you don't want to be away and be servicing someone and then say, oh, by the way, did you know I'm in Hawaii right now? Right.
Yeah.
But this is an extension of your system building in your
Mm.
business, is having things that continue moving along irrespective of circumstances. I was in the hospital last night, right? I know, wow, 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 I'm fine. But if I, knock on wood, had to stay overnight, if something happens that takes you away from your business for a couple of days, it doesn't have to be a vacation. You need business continuity plans for yourself, right? Whether it's a disaster or a vacation, if you're not able to service people, you still need to be able to service people via your systems. And making your clients aware of the fact that that's already in place and it's there to take care of them with the same level of service. It's comfort for those who might have thought it was a negative thing, and it just reinforces your good service to someone who already is happy, and there's no reason for worry anyway.
Mm. Yeah. So I think that's the best case. And I'm guilty of doing this in the past where I've tried to be as quiet as possible about it and hoping that my clients don't need anything while I'm away. And if I need to tell them, then I do it on at that time. And then you're just constantly feeling like you're hiding from them, which is not an ideal situation whatsoever. So just get it done, get it off your chest, get it off your plate, and you'll feel lighter knowing that everybody is fully aware of what the plan is when you are away. So you can actually get excited for your trip, which is important.
It's funny how, I don't know about you, but when I tell people, it becomes part of the narrative of a lot of our conversations between the time you leave and when you tell them. Like, instead of hiding behind something that's going to happen, now you go out with a client and they'll be like, oh, are you excited for your trip?
Hmm.
Right? Or like, where are you going to go? Da, da, da. Like, now it's just part of what's happening.
Yeah.
And that also is built off of the fact that we're there to be building relationships with our clients. Like, when we're talking clients, we don't operate in a very like transactional nature. We operate in we get to know them, they get to know us. And how does that work if you're hiding the fact that you're going to be away for a week or two while you're potentially working with them, right? Like, just make it part of the dialogue. Our clients do it with us,
Yeah. Well, that's
right?
it.
Like, think about how
Exactly.
often you're on a search and your client will be like, well, I'm actually, and sometimes it's last second.
Hmm.
And think about the difference of if they would have told you 2 weeks in advance, you might have changed your approach with how you're searching for things, right? Or
Exactly.
how you're
Hmm.
listing their place or whatever. So this is respect for your client. It's respect for your own business. And ultimately, everything you're doing is in their best interest in trying to get a deal done anyway. So by telling them and making a plan around it, you're going to be more successful than otherwise.
Exactly. So clients, definitely, first and foremost, but I'd even say before clients, you want to get the assistance of the people, the colleagues that you would like helping your clients in place so that when you do communicate to your clients, you can give them an actual name of a person and contact information and all that kind of stuff. So this is an area that I have found in the past before we had this brokerage to be challenging because I really didn't have too many colleagues at the same brokerage that I wanted to pass my clients on to. So having the people that I can trust in our brokerage has been really a big relief because I know they're going to take care of it and are able and willing to help. But I also think that setting expectations with them ahead of time, knowing what type of clients they'll be working with, what the demands are going to be, what sort of compensation, if any, are you going to give that person? Because sometimes people have this, back and forth where when I go on vacation, you cover me. When you go on vacation, there's no compensation involved. But a lot of times there is compensation. So you want to make that clear so that there's no cloudiness in terms of how you're moving forward. What happens if that person needs to make an offer for you? Does that change how the compensation works? So all of that kind of stuff, you just want to clear up ahead of time because you don't want to leave yourself in a position where you're not sure how the other person is reacting, or having the person feeling resentful because they're not feeling like they're getting what they deserve for the work they're putting in, or whatever it might be.
It's both the person you're partnering with and your client's perspective of the situation. Like, I think first and foremost, you need to find someone who can be as close to an extension of yourself
Mhm.
as you can, right? Because part of a client's concern will be, well, wait a second, is my service level going to be diminished, or is this person not going to understand my situation? I don't want to have to re-explain stuff. I don't want to be dealing with someone who deals with me in a different way. Um, all those things are important. And so when you talk to someone, compensation definitely is probably the number one thing that should be ironed out. But alongside that is, what exactly is the expectation of this person, right? Like, are they there to prepare an offer, or are you away, but when things come to a certain level, you do want to be included, right? Like, you're still going to typically you're going to have some degree of communication with the world back home. When do they contact you about what? How are you looped in or not into conversations? Like you said, notes on certain clients, all that stuff. Because part of this also is when you come back, you want to be able to pick up in such a way that you're not taking a few days to try to catch up on what went wrong or what went different. So detail is king with everything, with the people you're dealing with, and with making sure that from a client's perspective, there's no bump. Like, there's nothing there that requires them to exert any additional effort.
Yeah. And in terms of your style of communication, like how do they want to be communicated with? And does that jive well with the person that you're going to be passing them on to? Like, I'm thinking ahead to clients of mine that are on a different app than WhatsApp. So it's a completely different um like it's been an adjustment for me. I don't mind doing it, but some people will have an issue with it, or and also from your perspective, while you're away, do you want to stay in the loop on these things, or would you rather like to be completely taken out of it? And I don't know about you. I always feel torn on this because on one hand, it'd be nice not to be seeing the communication back and forth. However, if I am seeing it, it's not like I have to respond either. But at the same time, being completely taken out of it is kind of nice while you're away.
We've established we're both control freaks by
Yeah,
nature.
it's
We're
true.
perfectionists to a degree in different things. And I think the risk on both sides is not seeing it will make us crazy about what might be happening that we're not aware of and not a part of. But seeing it runs a likelihood, not even a risk, a likelihood that it'll make us crazy, that we need to interject, because nobody does things in the exact same way that we would do things. So I think you need to tell yourself, I want to see it, but I want to consciously allow things to happen
Yeah.
without me jumping in every time, right? Because
Mhm.
that defeats the purpose. If you just want to be aware, like,
Yeah.
maybe if you've got to deal with an agent where they give you a summary the end of every day, the end of the week, whatever, or at certain major events, here's what we did today, right?
Or
But there
when
is
you wanna be kept updated.
when should you tell me? When do I
Like, if
not want to
shit
know?
hits the fan and the deal is falling apart, like, involve me. Don't just try to handle it yourself kinda thing.
Right. Well, that's it. And it's communication with your client direct as well. That even though
Yeah.
you might put a proxy in there to be you when you're gone, a lot of clients are going to want you to be in the loop.
Yeah.
Most clients would. Like, I can't think of a client who would say, sure, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Right. They might say that, but deep down, they want you to at least know what's going on. If not, have a direct conduit to you that maybe you set ground rules for that. Like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm not going to have my phone on me during business hours, or on a 6 hour time difference.
Yeah.
So be aware that I might not respond to you in the 30 seconds I do now. It might be the next day. So ground rules of how communication is going to work is as important as anything else. Like having systems and things in place of how this stuff works. We, from a brokerage level, have stuff we still need to do, but we're preparing and getting ahead of as much as possible so that it doesn't have to be done when we're gone, right? But
Mm.
certain things, bills need to be paid, checks need to, like these things might still happen remotely, provided you don't have a system where you set it up when you're gone. Um, but just like with your business plan and with everything else, when you're able to identify potential pain points or potential things that would be easier if you didn't have to deal with them, the more time you have to get ahead of that, the
Yeah.
more you're going to be able to deal with it and not have to look at it when you're away.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, those are the two major players. Other people to consider though as well are lawyers, especially if you have closings coming up while you're away. If, there's an emergency or whatever it might be, you want a lawyer to be able to reach somebody different than you, likely, because you might not be able to immediately respond. But making sure that you've done, your buyer visits and have everything in your control finished and ready to hand off so that it goes as smoothly as possible. Um,
Well,
yeah,
the more you can be aware of your calendar, right? Like you're
yeah,
going away for however much time. If you need a buffer before and after, be aware
mhm,
of that, right? Like we
yeah,
we initially were telling people we're getting back on the 19th because that's when we leave. But
mm,
with connections and time difference, we're actually not back and available until the 21st, right?
yeah,
And we might not want to have an onslaught of stuff on the 21st because regardless of how much you plan, there's going to be emails and things and follow-ups that are already needed that have piled up
right,
at that point. But then when you're aware of the timing and what you can and can't do, you can consciously prepare for that from different perspectives, right? If you're scheduling social media stuff, you can
mm,
batch and get that ready. You can make sure if you don't want ad campaigns that have your phone ringing to be running when you're gone, don't run them, right? Like
mm,
maybe if you still are advertising, but maybe it's more branding stuff or whatever, be aware of how your marketing plays in. If there are listings in waiting, what do
mm,
you need to do to prepare for them, to delay them, to have somebody lined up to help? All of those things, listings can be complicated because there's a timeline for what it takes to get it ready, but there's also a market that you or your clients might want to hit that
mm.
potentially gets in the way of when you're traveling. So all of this comes with planning and being aware.
Yeah, being prepared. Yeah. So having, we shared in our team meeting this past week just a spreadsheet, really easy. You could easily put it together with just the tracking of who your client is. Have you notified them? Have you notified the agent? Have you sent an introductory email? And what is it? What are tasks that you need to do before you leave? And what are tasks that you expect that person to do while you're away? And if you can have that all prepared and communicated and everybody on board, it just makes it so much easier. And now this isn't to say that you're not going to get a call the night before from a client who wants to make an offer or, I want to list my house tomorrow or whatever it is, because we all know these are the things that do happen. So obviously you can't prepare for everything, but I think if you can do as much pre-work ahead of time, those little last minute surprises won't be as stressful because you've handled everything else previously.
And how good is it to just keep good records in general, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you might be doing this already, save for those two columns of what happens when I'm gone or what does an agent need to know, right? Because these are the
Mhm.
same things you need to know about your clients. Um, and this could extend anywhere. This could extend to leads you're working on. This could extend to past clients you need to follow up with. Um,
Mhm.
but it's never a bad thing to have more information. And if this is another reason to just build your own database and have a tool that's already in place that if you go away, it's a little bit easier to just transfer. Here's who I'm working with from the database. Here's where we're at with all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
On
true.
contact
Yeah. That's
info.
like goals for next vacation for me, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's
It's
all very, at this point, very um manual, which isn't ideal.
Well, that's it. It's kind of a we take it as it comes now. And we have known we were planning to go away for some time. And I think definitely in your case, you've, I think, crossed most of your T's and dotted most of your I's by
Except for this
doing,
impending offer that I have
except for
going
this
out
impending
today that
offer.
might require me to list a house
Well,
while I'm away.
I
But I'm
think
thinking ahead to all of that and trying
that's
to
the
prep.
thing. Like we can control what we can control. And
Yeah.
most of the time you're not doing this with a hope to go dry for 2 or 3 weeks and then hope to pick your business up again. I mean, you want to go dark if you can and leave it all behind, but the
Yeah.
nature of our business is that the phone rings, emails come in, all that stuff happens, and it's not going but it's Murphy's law. It'll never align with what you've planned for yourself.
Yeah.
But if all that's left are the handful of things that are just going to happen, then at least you've been able to address the stuff you could address. And I don't think
Mm.
most people do. Like when we've gone away in the past, we're still on our phones, on our computers. We get back to the hotel room, the laptops are open, we're catching up.
Yeah.
That might still happen a bit on this trip, but I do think now more people are aware, and it's been set up with people to cover certain things. You know, the meetings that we normally have scheduled every week have been planned out.
Yeah.
Podcast
Mm.
episodes are being recorded before
They're
we
in the
go.
bank, yo.
Batched, baby. Batched.
Batched it in the bank. Stay tuned for some batched episodes.
When this is
What?
done, that, that should be like our. Do we have a new theme song now? Is it out?
Yeah.
My
We have
voice just
like
went up like 9 octaves.
we have like a condensed version of the extra long one that we used to have. So you're welcome, everybody. You don't have to listen to the level.
Now everybody knows you were the voice of that song.
Oh yeah, that
You
was me.
sounded just like her.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, we've got a vacation to go to.
We do.
So I'm going to
We're also
shut this bad
renovating a
boy
kitchen
down.
at the same time, which is
That's
kind
true.
of one of those things that we
Well,
didn't really.
didn't really, but did really. That's actually kind of a nice thing is when there's stuff that can leverage the fact that you're gone.
Yeah, it's just we haven't like. I mean, you could only prepare so much. Like there was timing of other people that involved in this, but yeah, it's a lot in the next 3 days to like clean out your entire kitchen, get that all set, make some final decisions on design, all while remembering you have to pack for a couple of weeks. So
Unfortunately, we're not packing the things from our kitchen, or we could have killed two birds with one stone. But no,
yeah,
we're going to be
it'll
eating
get
out of
done.
our
It'll always get
garage.
done, but it's yeah.
It
Yeah,
will,
well,
well,
that's
and
the other
that's
thing. It's like, where do we put the stuff in our garage? Well, our garage is full of crap right now, so that's gonna. I feel like we
that
should just do like a free garage sale. Just throw everything out on our driveway when we leave. People can make donations if they'd like, but otherwise, take the stuff, and when we get home, maybe our whole garage will be empty. How's that sound? If
that's
we're not,
okay. Yeah, I don't know that that's the angle I would take, but this does play into the vacation doesn't start on the day we get on the plane, right? Like the fun part of it does, but the planning and the need for some time away from the business is actually earlier than that, right?
Mhm.
Like packing for 4 kids and cleaning out an entire kitchen is going to take some time. But all their
Your
programs are done
birthday.
now.
It's your birthday.
It's my birthday. Is it my birthday
For
when
your
this episode comes
birthday?
out? I don't even know
No,
what day my
your
birthday is.
birthday is on
It
a
doesn't
Sunday.
matter. Yeah.
So happy birthday early.
Thanks.
Oh, my
Thanks.
pleasure. For your birthday, we are planning a kitchen clean out.
I can't wait. That is actually how we're going to spend my birthday is cleaning a kitchen.
Cleaning the kitchen and
Spectacular.
packing.
This is just an epic week. Lots to remember this week. Hospital trips and dogs throwing up in hallways. You got the pleasure of that one. Thank you, by the way, for taking care of that.
You are so welcome.
That's my
And
early
putting
birthday
that in the
present.
bank is the next time when he does it. It's on you. Although you did clean up
On me. I hope it's not
pea
on me.
stain on a carpet,
That's true.
which was a lot more. So actually it was on
I don't
me.
know. I'd rather what I did than what you did. I'm not a big fan of cleaning the throw up.
Yeah, but the getting it out of the carpet is so stressful and time consuming. I'd rather get my hands a little dirty for a few seconds and then move on with my day.
On that note, have you yet seen, like, can you see where that stain was, or did I
No, I
do that good
tried
a job?
to and I didn't. So it
I did a
looks,
really
I
good job
think you did a
cleaning
good
that.
job. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Or did he just pee on the entire carpet and it's just completely shaded a different color that you don't even know?
I feel like I remember the last time we got our carpets cleaned when we had our other dog, and the carpet cleaner actually pulled up more urine into the upper part of the carpet,
Yeah,
which then made it visible. So
it
I'm
was a
kind of
bad call.
afraid that if you clean it too much, although then there's like
That's why
pee
you can
still
depend
in
on
our
a
carpet,
half-ass
people are
from a
going to come to our
half-ass
house
cleaning
and be
comes in.
like, I don't want to sit, I don't want to go near that carpet. We won't tell you which one it is. So there you go.
We won't. Yeah. Come visit when you're taking all the free stuff from our garage. Stop in and play
Stop it.
guess which carpet got peed on.
Anyhow, well, thanks everyone. That was so nasal.
You got nasal. You definitely, I wasn't noticing, but then yeah, you took it to that level.
Yes.
Thanks,
So
everybody.
have a great week. Stay tuned for the batched episodes coming at you. They're fire.
Have we
Like,
recorded them already?
subscribe. We have 2
Actually,
out
we
of the
have.
3.
That's true. No, three. Three out of the, well, as
4.
of right now, we've done three because you did one. I have to
Yeah.
do the fourth.
Yeah. 3 to 4, baby.
Wow. It's important to batch your content. That'll be another episode.
Which we don't do. We'll talk as if it's important to do, but we
We're
honestly,
doing
if
it.
we're
We're
being
doing it now.
honest,
This is the only time we can talk about how we do it because now we've done it for the first time in 150 episodes.
can't, guys. Like, I can't normally do it. It's just not natural for me to batch content.
Just don't think you can talk to me for that long on end.
It's true too.
Like if we stop now and then start it again, like we
Yeah,
started this episode angry.
it's true. But we've gotten better. I feel like, but
With what?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, batching podcast content, like, I mean, could you imagine like batching for like Joe Rogan? You'd be like in the studio for like full
I
day.
this isn't meant to be offensive to you, but it's going to come across that way as I look to the sky and try and think of how to say this a
Well,
different way.
this is gonna go well.
I feel like I could batch 8 hours by myself, but I feel like it's harder to batch when I'm with the same person for 8 hours at a time because it becomes very, like, I'm sure it's repetitive when I
Honest.
talk by myself, but I don't
Yeah. I mean,
notice because I'm the only one talking.
when I've batched my own content, yeah, you're right. Like it as long as you're prepared, I think that's what it is. Like you've got to be going in ready, knowing what you're talking about. I know like this is said all the time, but it's so true. It's just getting myself to that point to batch my own content. I could do it. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around preparing for more than one video at this point. I just feel like everything's been so busy lately, so it's been tough.
Well,
But
things are still getting done. The prep is being done.
it is.
And as long as you're not batching because there's other ways you're spending your time that are still effective, then it's fine. If you're not batching and then sitting and wasting time for 3 hours, then you should feel bad about yourself.
That's nice. We love you all and we respect and appreciate you. So, with that said, like, subscribe, give us a rating, and we will talk to you next week.
Batch world. I am Batchman. Bye.
Bye.
Level up, level up, level up.